What I really like about Fury of the Deep overall is Doctor Who becoming an exercise in what would later become something similar to like what was on the television program Doomwatch of the early 1970s in the UK. I like the ecological horror element to the storyline, and I enjoy how much they attempt to emphasize a certain danger to the proceedings. They are really trying to amp up the horror in what's meant to be some sort of genuine speculative science fiction. Of course, it ought to be mentioned that, like many of these six-parters, a four-parter might have been more appropriate. I appreciate the effort to make this extensive epic, and a great six-parter might be more interesting than the idea of a great four-parter, perhaps. But when it's not executed quite to a T, it just drags and it falls into the capture escape formula far too much. This one isn't too bad with that, although when characters are absent for periods of holiday, it becomes noticeable. What can be most lauded perhaps about Fury from the Deep is the highly emotional, one of the best and possibly more unsung of the Doctor Who companion departures is certainly Victoria's. I find that Victoria was a really good character who was a bit wasted on becoming a damsel too many times because she was more scientifically aware than Jamie was, which lent her some sort of potential importance in the plot, but ultimately she doesn't find herself, particularly just being from the 19th century, she's just not overwhelmingly useful to the Doctor a lot of the time compared with Zoe, who might be a more useful and effective companion overall, although I think Zoe suffers from the writers placing her as a damsel too many times as well, probably. Maybe not as many times as I remember. We'll go through this over the next few months. I'm going to endorse Fury from the Deep overall. It's obvious that it's losing points in my mind due to it being a reconstruction. The scenes that are available are magnificent, in my opinion, very creepy and cool. Though again, you know what? Five-parter. I'm going to diagnose that as the issue again. Ought to have been five-parter. Why not? Tune in next time for Solid Space, Space Museums, The Wheel in Space.